So, I don't know what I'm going to call this video. I might call it Weird Prophecies, maybe. And maybe it's not going to age well. Maybe 2 months from now, I'm going to look back at it and be like, oh man, you were losing your mind. But here's what I was thinking about this morning. Something that could very well happen and send us back into the bull market. By all means, this is not advice of what you should be doing with your money. I'm not telling you buy Bitcoin right now or anything like that. It's completely up to do, as they say, do your own research. But here is what I was thinking. Okay, this is my tinfoil hat moment, as they say. Now, as you might know, a couple of days ago, we had a little pump on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin was hovering around a little above 6 grand. All of a sudden, we had a massive green candle, and then depending on what exchange you use, of course, it went all the way up to 6,700 or so. And of course, many people were like, okay, this is it, this is the bull run. But there was something really weird about that. And if you don't know what Tether is, then I'll explain it really quick. But a lot of exchanges don't have US dollars, and they use a token that is called USDT, USD Tether, which is supposed to be pegged to 1 USD as the US dollar. So this is a separate company. It's owned by Bitfinex, and there's a lot of FUD going on with that, but I'm not going to get into those details. However, this is what happened that night. A lot of people that were on Tether bought into Bitcoin. So obviously the number is ridiculous. It's like 500 million, something like that. Got basically dumped of Tether and went into Bitcoin. And a lot of whales loaded up that day. That caused something really funky to happen that I don't know if it was designed for it to happen, if it was on purpose, but it's an interesting reaction. And this is going to have a little bit of math, so I apologize for those who hate math, but I'll try to make it as simple as possible. If Tether goes down in price because it's being dumped, you could say, because they're buying into Bitcoin, then it's going to make the price of Bitcoin look higher, because it's going to take more Tether to represent the dollar amount that is supposed to represent. So let me try to make it really simple. Imagine that Bitcoin, for the sake of argument, was $10, and Tether is supposed to be $1, 1 Tether. And all of a sudden Tether goes to 50 cents. Now you would need 20 Tether to make $10. So because CoinMarketCap and other websites like it report the USDT, which is the Tether price, and the USD together and do an average, it makes everything look a lot higher because of that difference. That might confuse a couple of people, but do the math if you want to, or you know what, leave me a comment and I'll try to explain it easier. But I suspect that what that created was some sort of FOMO train happening, and all of a sudden people were like, oh my god, we're going back into the bull. And even those who are not part of that big buy, those, not even the whales or whatever, I was one of them. I actually bought like $50 to see if I could, go up a little bit with the price of Bitcoin. Bought in, and I wonder how many people thought like me, oh my god, that's it, the Greek candles are coming in, and chased a little bit, whatever you could tolerate. I chased with like $50. Maybe not such a good move, but we know Bitcoin can get crazy. Now, it made me think that is kind of how we can go into a crazy bull run. Now, is it sustainable? Probably not. Is it a good idea to follow that FOMO train? Probably not. But if Tether was to take a big candle in the wrong direction, I guess you could say that, if it was to go all of a sudden to 90 cents, we might trigger a crazy bull run that might not stop. So here's my little prophecy, and I'm going to see how this ages. I think that's about to happen because of the amount of FUD that's going on with Tether lately. So Bitfinex is being asked of not being liquid, and there's some other stuff going on. And again, there are so many people out there reporting on this that maybe I don't need to do a video about those specifics. But if you are curious, I'll link I'll link to a an article I was just reading on the Bitfinex thing. But that might make people get so scared about holding Tether that they'll just jump anchor to Bitcoin. Not because they think Bitcoin is bottomed out, even though I personally think it is, but because they don't want to hold Tether anymore, which in turn will lower the price of Tether, which in turn will make people FOMO into Bitcoin, and up we go. What do you think about that? Again, I'm going to check this video out in a few months to see if I was completely out of my mind or if I was onto something. And that's going to be it for me.